Hey viewers, welcome to another game of Casual Pro Gamer. Today we are doing another game of Snute versus Solar, and Snute is in the bottom right corner and well, that makes Solar in the top left. So Zerg versus Zerg. This is game number 4 of the best of 5 of the finals of a tournament called D8. And well, these two are actually the two. But yeah, well, it has been quite a good matchup so far, so they've been pretty well matched. The games have not been super interesting so far, I have to say. There has been one interesting game, but most of the others were not like super interesting. And by interesting, I mean a little bit of back and forth where you can't really see who's going to win on the first fight. And that, of course, is kind of a prerequisite for me to make it actually interesting. Anyhow, we'll see how this goes. This is once again a huge map. It seems that all the maps nowadays are kind of huge, and we will have to see if they can find each other. Obviously, these two overlords are going to meet each other right here, and then they will know, oh, you're in the top left, oh, you're in the bottom right, yeah, hi, yeah. And they might actually, well, just do something with that information, although I'm assuming hatcheries are going to go down, maybe even 2 hatcheries before spawning pool, because, well, you can get away with it on a huge map with 4 player positions. And yeah, especially if you hide your overlord. So if this overlord comes in and scouts or goes down over here and then scouts here, then it can see that there's no creep coming over here. So it can see that the base is not here, but it will also not spot this overlord. And if you hide your overlord like that, because the overlords won't see each other if they're like all the way in the bottom, because here you can see he steers it away right now, and they actually, now they meet, but yeah, otherwise they wouldn't have met and they wouldn't have seen each other. So now they know where the enemy base is. And if you hide your base for long enough, or your overlord in this case, then you can actually get away with some pretty, well, greedy plays, let's just call them. But yeah, it's all about knowing what your opponent is doing, of course. So having the information of where he is can actually be pretty valuable. So yeah, just standard stuff going on. The queens are going to go up in a few moments. And Zergling speed already underway. Zergling speed, of course, very nice for bigger maps, although we don't really see a lot of Zerglings nowadays, unless people go for pure Zerglings. The Zerglings are not very good scouts, because, well, you have overlords, which are way better scouts, although they're very slow. So yeah, all in all, you can just do whatever you want scouting-wise with the overlords, and maybe turn it into an overseer, and just go with that. But yeah, for now, just chilling in base. It seems that both players are pretty happy, just doing their thing. Here we have a Ling run by. How did that run past this entire thing? Well, whatever. It does get picked off. It did scout around to the base, but obviously nothing to see except for this baneling nest. But yeah, he already probably knew that was going to happen, because banelings are useful with any strategy. So whatever you want. Spinecrawler coming up, because he did see that there were quite a few lings out, and he doesn't really have that much to defend. But yeah, plenty of time before they run across the map, so he can actually build his own lings and counter that pretty easily. Yeah, both of them have speed for that exact reason, because if one player has speed and the other one doesn't, yeah, it's kind of hard to defend. So we are going to see them chase this little group. I don't know where this group is going. Apparently scouting for that third base. Well, as I said, you can get away with that if it doesn't get scouted in time. But I don't think he actually expected this base to be there. Wow, the banelings actually get out alive. He was definitely trying to snipe those with the 2 lings running in there. Because if you don't control your banelings, yeah, that sort of thing will happen. And they might actually explode on single Zerglings, which of course is not really worth it. So all in all, yeah, some attacks going on, but not a whole lot of things achieved. And yeah, the evolution chamber coming up, another roach warren coming up. So 2 buildings just to block, put some queens in between the buildings, and you should be fine against the Zerglings. I'm not really expecting anything to happen there. But yeah, I can be wrong, obviously. I've been wrong many times before. So a little bit of a fight here. Well, it's not actually a fight. The blue lings are just trying to run away, and the red lings are like, yeah, I want to kill you, man. Stop moving. Yeah, no. I guess not a whole lot to say about that, because obviously if you just keep moving, yeah, you can't really get killed. You can, however, get killed if you just stop. Run by, because he took his queens out of the gap. And yeah, I don't think it's going to really be something here. I don't think he even got 1 drone. Yeah. So yeah, he ran past this wall, but the only thing he really wanted to spot was whether there was a Baneling nest up or not, or Baneling, roach warren up. Baneling nest, yeah, it's not up, but it doesn't really matter either. Because, well, Banelings are kind of mixed in between the army, and whatever you do, Banelings are going to be good with it anyway. I mean, they're not great against roaches, but they're still pretty good. They're not, like, the best ones, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, it seems that we are going to defend against the roaches here. Not a lot of defense for the rest, but if he can get these roaches past this line of spine crawlers, then we might actually see a very quick end to this game, and he can just run past it. Because he knows where the defense is going to be set up. He also knows that there's no defense over here, so he might just be able to get this base for free. Yeah, I think this base is just completely abandoned now. Some of the spine crawlers moving over there. Hatchery? That was not. Huh? That was weird. I thought I selected the building over here, but apparently I did not, because it didn't cancel. So I was like, why is he building a hatchery in the middle of nowhere? Really no reason to do that. Anyhow, yeah, just building up the economy here on both sides. And there are some scouting armies going around. I mean, armies are pretty useful for scouting out like stray enemy units, but I'm not really sure why he didn't come in with the roaches. Maybe he was just afraid that he didn't have enough. Anyhow, Mutalisk out on the map now. Mutalisk, of course, not very good against queens, but then again, queens are very slow off the creep, so yeah, and even on creep they're not super fast. So Mutalisk can actually do quite a lot of damage to the overlords that are all over the map. And yeah, you can see that they're kind of retreating. There are a lot of still overlords out for a red player here. He can defend them with his Mutalisk force, and I do expect a reaction to this. So maybe he's going for infestors. Infestors are pretty good as a counter to Mutalisk, because you can catch multiples. And well, if you catch multiples, obviously, if you catch a group like this, you can just snipe the entire group with a few spells, with a few infestors, without even, well, coming close to them really. So that would be good. Roaches are out. They're not very vulnerable to the Mutalisk. So the Mutalisk should do some damage to them, but not enough to actually care. And here we will see that. Here, as you can see, the damage is not really huge. You can just walk back to his army. The Hydralisk coming out now. Okay, so Hydralisk versus the Mutalisk, and then the roaches are going to be the main army. But yeah, Hydralisks do quite a bit of damage. They have very good range. And of course, if you can manage to get them near enemy units or, well, an enemy base, that could actually result in some pretty decent, well, just killing. And there are the infestors. Infestors have quite a bit of energy already stored up. And fungal growth, well, currently we're at 1 fungal growth each, but in a few seconds there will be 2 each, and that is when it becomes really interesting to use them. Because if you can catch a bunch of these probes, or, well, any unit really, if it's grouped up, it's very hard to go up against the infestors. And yeah, finally we do have the fight here. Finally we do have it. There, fungal growth, look at that. Oh, they didn't die though. So, yeah, most of them did lose a lot of their HP, and that is exactly what you want, because then they can't really come close. All of these spine crawlers are going to go down, but the question is how many of these roaches are going to live to tell the tale. A lot, apparently. And there goes your drone line. There goes your base. And the only thing that's still holding it back is this huge force of Mutalisks. Mutalisks, of course, as I said, really good against the roaches alone. But the roaches are just going to try to do as much damage as they can before they get picked off. But yeah, it takes a long time to pick them off. But yeah, they're still good against it because, well, what are roaches going to do? Oh, so many 1 HP drones. Like, literally 1 HP. And yeah, that's fairly unfortunate. But that is the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, he might actually lose some drones here for really no reason. But yeah, he did get them back to their base to mine quicker. I guess that's kind of worth it. Huge air force here now because, well, there's over 1 tab full of units, and he might actually be able to one-shot roaches now, which is big. Because if your opponent is only making roaches, which he's not, then this might actually be super good. The Hydralisks need to group up a little bit more because they want to one-shot the Mutalisks. Because that's the way it works, right? You counter units with other units, and then, well, counter is actually the wrong word. There are no real counters in this game. There are units that are good against other units, but it's not like you cannot win in a, well, both sides can still win. Well, in a roach versus Mutalisks it becomes a little bit harder, but as I said, it takes a long time to pick them off, and they can still do a lot of damage before you can destroy them. So even though they can't hit them directly, Mutalisks are also not the ultimate weapon against the roaches. So it seems that we have quite a mixed army here for a red player. He's working with multiple unit types, but his main army is just this huge flock of Mutalisks. And yeah, some Zerglings out, some well, other units out. I guess he doesn't really have that many unit types. No, it's not bad, but I guess he has 4 queens out versus the 5. That's not really banelings coming out now. So the banelings should be good against the roaches. We'll see how that works. Lots of upgrades coming out here, and if he can actually complete some of them, that would be great. But they're still way off. And yeah, this army will just munch on this base in no time. There is just not a whole lot you can do about it. In the meantime, we have this huge army in the middle, which picked off like a few units, but the main army is still in one ball, and it is still grouped up to just go for the next base. A few overlords in the way, apparently. He wanted to snipe those. Yeah, sniping so many overlords that his opponent actually gets into the red, which means no more units for you until you rebuild those. And yeah, this is going to be the main fight. So who is going to win in this fight? It seems that the Mutalisks do have an advantage here, and they are indeed going to win this. But at what cost? I mean, he lost so many units. and I don't really think he can hold this off. Here, even though he won that fight, there's still a huge army in his base, and it will take a long time for these few mutalisks to actually pick off these roaches. And the roaches are just going to work on the drones, and the drones are all going to go down, and this is not good. So our workers killed 55, just saying. 55 workers killed. Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. So 67 versus 31 drones. This is going to be super hard to come back from, if he can do it at all. More roaches even streaming in, and eventually he does clear it out. But yeah, the economy is just untouched on this side. So all he needs to do is just use all that income that he has to just make more units. And by the time these mutalisks have flown all over the map, or across the map rather, he's going to have all these units back up. So yeah, what are you going to do against this? As long as he keeps attacking with his units, then there's nothing that Snute here can do. Snute can't really attack him, because if he loses his army, he's done. And he can't really defend, because, well, by the time he goes and counterattacks, he's kind of, well, facing the same army again. So yeah, secondary army coming up now, and you see the infestors just putting some fungal growth on stuff, but it's not as effective, and it seems that, yeah, this was enough though. So as I said, there's not a whole lot you can do about that, so unless he won right there, it was just over. Because with such incomes, so yeah, you can see the difference here, 1800 to 380. And then the gas is relatively equal, but still, yeah, so many drones, it's insane. So yeah, that game was over after the big fight, but still, good game. Definitely an interesting game. And yeah, different unit choices, I like that. I like that. But yeah, well, it's over now. So on to game number 4. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. GG.